Welcome to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul, everybody. So growing up, if we were fortunate, right, many of us were encouraged by our parents and our loved ones to find something in our lives to be passionate about that would put us on the road to discover our true purpose in life. But what happens when trying to discover our purpose in life isn't so obvious? And what happens when our passions don't necessarily align with what our true purpose is supposed to be? Ooh, we about to get deep tonight, Tammi Mac. What? Okay, is it possible to have more than one purpose? Ooh, y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. Tonight on the Tammi Mac Late Show, the business of being Black is finding your purpose. Please welcome motivational speaker, media personality, and doctor of divinity, Delores Thompson. Hi, Dr. Delores.
Hey, Tammy, what's happening?
Actor and comedian Kel Mitchell. Hey, Kel.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Actress, producer, and director Brely Evans up in this piece tonight. Hey, Brely, nice to see you.
How you doing? Glad to be here.
Actor and Grammy-nominated musician, Major. Hey, Major.
What's happening, Tammy? What's happening H-Time?
So every night I ask, and I start the show by asking, why should Black people care? So tonight I ask you all, and anyone can take the question first, why should Black people care about finding their purpose?
Well, I'll jump on in. I heard a little quiet spot. We should care about finding our purpose because we're holding up somebody else's dream when we don't. And it's really that simple. When you don't live your purpose, you're literally cutting off somebody else's pathway to theirs. And it's really not about you. It's really about other people.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get you to break that down so that it could consistently and forever be broken in a minute, Brely. But Kel, your thoughts here? Why should Black people care?
Well, we should definitely care. I think we all need to wake up with purpose. You know what I mean? Purpose driven. You know, when we wake up, we put our clothes on, right? When we wake up, we put our clothes on and we go out. You would never walk outside naked, right? In this way, you also have to think, I need to be spiritually clothed too, as well, when I walk outside, where I'm going with my purpose. So I'm saying I want God's purpose in my life every time, because his purpose and his will in my life is always better than what I'm thinking, because God knows our future. God knows what's up ahead. So I want to make sure I'm spending time with him and I'm connected with him at the start of my day. So that way I'm walking in his purpose, and that way I can get to my blessings and the journey and the path that he has for me and my family, keeping them covered. It's about that connection in the morning, that you're being clothed with the armor of God, you know. Ooh. And that's how I look at purpose.
Okay,
that's what
now
gets me up in the morning. That's what
I'm coming, and Kel, I'm coming back to you on that one, because I got a hard one for you on that one. I'm coming back to you on that one. Dr. Delores, please. Why should Black folk care about purpose? Why I got to care about a purpose?
Well, I think the reason why we should care about purpose is because our lives and the value of that is so purposeful. The things that we bring to the table, the things that we have brought to this country, the things that we have brought to one another, has had so many deep meanings and so many doorways and pathways and connections that make this a beautiful world. So understanding that your life is purposeful is enough to give somebody else a reason to want to get on board with your purpose.
Major.
Man.
I have to laud everybody's responses and expressions to that particular question, and also more echo what my sister Brely spoke on. I believe that our existence is the key that unlocks another one's existence, and I believe that we all were created as answers to a specific need in the earth. Oftentimes we chase what has already been done because that thing is the thing that's on trend or the thing most celebrated, neglecting our particular need that we were assigned to, leaving that need unattended and a bunch of focus on already tended to need. So I think if we understand that what it does is it unlocks the next level, the next thing for a progressive humanity when we decide to step in the place that we belong, that we've been assigned to, versus trying to chase what has already been done.
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's the hard one. Go ahead, Brely.
He broke that thing down. You know what? Simply said, Tammy, there's a reason why your daddy met your mama. And people don't, I say this quite often too. Do you know how many sperm left camp? Like you are like there, you were chosen for this human experience. Like there's a great purpose for your very existence, and there I go echoing you back, and all of you really, is if we don't realize how purposed we were at conception, like it starts so early. Like this thing is mind-blowing when you go back to the day they met and they hooked up. You're like, thank y'all, because we were like already fashioned in God's mind. He already had our what we would come on the scene to provide. It was already in the mix, you know what I'm saying? So we should be every day, like my brother Kel said, waking up to say, okay, God, what's my assignment on today, so that I can be fully wrapped in purpose, so that when I walk outside, those who I encounter, those who encounter the essence of me, get something when they walk away. Now imagine if we did not do that, to what Dr. Delores said, there would be so many inventions that would miss, especially the chocolate folk. There'll be so many. Black History Month is just, y'all, it's just not enough, because we done made this place.
It's American history indeed. It's a little more than Black history. It's world history.
It's world history. It's world history.
I'm gonna bounce back to Kel, because Kel, I gotta give it to you. I gotta give it to you.
Come on.
You said that everyone should be cloaked and wrapped in the armor of God when they come out to fulfill their purpose. So I have to ask him, what if God is not in your life? What if God is not your thing?
If God is not your thing, I can only speak on my God, because that's, who I love and how I find my purpose. So I was speaking on that. But however you find it. But at me and my house, we serve the Lord. And that is the way that I do it. You know what I mean? Because when I leaned on my own understanding and trying to figure it out on my own, I would hit emotional walls, and I would, I might think in a petty way, or I might think in an emotional way. And we all deal with different emotions. But our Heavenly Father is thinking about the goodness of everyone. And just like everyone just said, we are all born for a reason. Everyone is born for a reason. Everyone is born for a purpose, to do something. So when you walk out, and when you're going out into these streets, and when you're going to speak to someone, we're all part of the same family. And we all have the talents and gifts that's been given by God to definitely do some amazing things. Yeah.
So Dr. Delores, how does one go about finding a purpose?
Well, I think we put a lot into finding things, but the bottom line is God said, I knew you. In fact, I formed you in your mother's womb. And because God did it, there was already purpose in you being birthed. There was a reason why God wanted you to be manifest here on earth. So we put a lot of formulas to things all the time, right? Well, if you go study this, and if you go seek out that, you'll find your purpose. Many people don't even understand that they're walking in their purpose daily. Even when you didn't know you were walking in your purpose, you were walking in your purpose.
Can you give me an example? Like, what does that mean specifically? What, somebody walking around here with purpose and have no clue? What's an example of walking in your purpose?
Here's a great example of walking in purpose. When I came into the knowledge of the truth, I remember coming to the same job that we worked together, KJLH. met a young man on the request line who came to that. I had him come to the station, and took him a long time to come. When he finally came, I asked him, would he be my intern? Now, he told me he was a gangbanger and all that. I was like, that's fine. I want you to be my intern. So he started working with me, and he would see that I prayed every day, and he wanted to be a part of that. His mom came to the station one day. The receptionist called me. She's like, his mom's out here. And I came and I got her. She sat there and she cried. And she said, I have been waiting for my son to come to the Lord for years. And I said, but you don't have to thank me, because your prayers led me here to this very day, so I can meet your son on that request. If it wasn't for your prayers, I wouldn't be at KJLH. If it wasn't for your prayers. So that purpose that God created, it started from the womb. And once I started thinking about, let's go back down the line. Well, if I had to be here, then that means my mama and my daddy had to be born, just like Brely said. And if they had to be born, their parents had to be born. God is not sitting there doing stuff on the daily. We put him in this box and go, God ain't through me yet. All these little trendy sayings. God did everything within 6 days. So we were born in purpose.
Ooh, it makes it all make sense now, because Brely was saying we are here, we are purpose for other people, and we have to live in our purpose to fulfill someone else's purpose. That was the example of that. Girl, I'm blown.
Wait a minute. Can I just come in and say this part?
I gotta go to break. We'll be right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Tonight, the business of being Black is finding your purpose. Brely, you wanted to, before we left, you were inspired to say something.
I sure was. I love that you asked Kel about, what about those who don't believe in God? They on purpose too. I know it's so simple. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. But because they don't, clearly defines the path that Dr. Delores just spoke about how the young man came and wasn't on purpose, but they're on purpose too. And I dare any of them to stub their toe and they don't call on Jesus. Oh, okay. You don't call on Jesus one day or another. Get in the car today. Hold on. Oh,
Hey.
You know, but Major, you had something that was amazing.
Major, let's go, Major.
Yes, Major, please.
Yeah, I was reading up on purpose, and there's a observation by a guy named Robert Bryan where he said the purpose of life is a life of purpose. In order to get somewhere, you need to define your end goal, and the sooner you define it, the clearer everything else will become. A life without a purpose is a life without a destination. And I was basically realizing that I think oftentimes we confuse purpose with dreams and aspirations. We want to get somewhere. We want this, we want that. So we just automatically assume that's our purpose. Our purpose is to become a big famous singer. Now that's a fun thing. That's amazing.
Right.
But who did you touch on your way to becoming that? Who did you reach? What did you give? How did you pour? And something Tammi tapped on, as well as I think everybody has actually tapped on this space, is when you don't show up, you don't allow the opportunity for other things to show up. Me standing in my purpose is a contribution to the growth and the forward advancement of what we call humanity. So it's literally like you putting seed in the ground. If you want famine, don't put seed in the ground. Don't like if you want lack of harvest, don't put nothing out there. And so what happens is we have to realize I am just as essential to the forward movement of humanity as you are, Brely, to the forward movement of my humanity. Because when we're both giving, nobody's left empty. When we're both living, when we're both stepping into that space of intention and reason beyond ourselves, it's purpose. Living purpose will never be a selfish thing. It will always be something that requires a pouring out. And if everybody identifies that thing, you won't be missed.
I have to, you make sense. I have to use my own personal testimony here. I remember I used to do these mixers in Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California.
We all been there.
Come on, Tammi.
I used to do these. I used to do these 1-minute mixers for Black people to come and be exposed to directors and producers. And I didn't know no directors and producers, but they came. And I have to be honest here. I was really doing it for myself so that I could meet directors and I could meet producers.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, God was like, no, this ain't for you. This is for everyone. This is, you are only the vessel. This is not about you. And all of a sudden I started feeling that it was my purpose. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, I need to get a job from this anymore. Even with my one-woman show, Bag Lady, I initially did it with me in mind. I was like, oh, I'm about to get a TV show. I'm about to get on, give me some auditions, get in a movie. I'm about to be Tiffany Haddish up in this joint. And nothing came of it in that sense. But I ended up going on tour. And that tour empowered so many women who were in this sunken place. And I realized this was not about me. This was me performing, me doing dances and choreography. It had nothing to do with me. And when you realize that, when you see that, it's like the world just opens up. And
here's the gag.
It's something,
Here's the gag. That's what God, our creator, that's what the world requires of us in order to be in the right posture for a purpose to be fulfilled. But while that mindset is the key. But having that mindset also blesses you, because once we become the vessel, think of a vessel, think of a pipe. You're the very agent that this thing flows through. The blessing has to flow through you to get to where it was intended to go. So you still get blessed on the way there.
Come on.
While you create a mixer that opens up doors for so many people and helps the culture. Tammi Mac, you're essential. More people knew what I had to offer because of your 1-minute mixers. While you were initially doing it for yourself, eventually you started to adapt to, this is beyond me. And then you realize, oh, this is beyond me and including me, because God will never bless somebody without touching the one who is willing to be.
But it's also what Dr. Delores said when she says we're always walking in our purpose, because I mean, the question that people ask is, how do I find my purpose? And so, Dr. Delores, when you say you're always walking in it, I want to ask you this. Do you have to know what your purpose is to live it out?
Well, I mean, the thing about talking about purpose is everybody's always looking for that one thing. And purpose is so big. It's so much bigger than us. And it's like you said, it's not even about us. So once we stop seeking that one thing, okay, so now I'm here. So now I'm in my purpose. By the time you figure that out, God done moved you somewhere else.
Yes.
So the bottom line is when we stop looking for that one thing to be our purpose, then we start seeing everything we do as being purposeful.
Can I say this? People will look at me and think that acting is my purpose, right? No, acting is not my purpose. Acting is what I do. Acting is what God has allowed me the platform so that people will listen, so that when I give them kingdom, they can palate it. Like my acting is being used to forward kingdom business. My acting is like, my purpose is to let every curvy girl know that you can be just as fabulous as any leading lady, that you can be sexy and you can be saved at the same time. I almost said same sometime, but you know what I'm saying? So it's, and your purpose will be kind of unfolded in front of you as you walk forward. So it's not something you should constantly be looking for. You should just be walking. We should all be water walkers. It's named my company for a reason. We should all be walking. We should all be doing. We should all be participating in our gifts and our dreams. And as you do so, your purpose will gently be unfolded to you, Tammi, with this 1 minute night. It was kind of given to you. Realize this is bigger than me. This is okay.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, this got a life of its own. Kel, I do want to ask you, Kel, and I'm going to ask everyone. I'm going to ask everyone on this panel. Brely, you just let us know what yours was, but Kel, how did you come to your purpose, and what is it?
Well, like we said, there's many different ones. You know what I mean? There's many. And I want to say one thing though, that I think that's really important here is faith. Having that faith, you have that faith to start that. You know, we have to walk in our faith. So when we have that faith, that is the thing. When we do our faith in action, we will help others. That's the fuel for others because they see, oh, I can do the same thing that they just did. They trusted in God. They had the faith to do it, to walk out and do it. And so with my purpose, I know when people see me, my main thing is that I want them to see the Christ in me. I want them to see that. And I want to make sure that I'm very transparent with everything that I do, because I know these talents and things that were given to me was for a reason. So when I walk into sets and wherever I go, I'm there for a reason. I feel like you meet everyone for a reason. There is a purpose while you're meeting someone, because it is the reason why it's happening. God put that together for you. I'll say one thing. When we produced All That, we brought that back, the show that I started on. And we had 8 kids that are the new cast members. And the Lord told me to tell them something that I wish somebody told me when I was young and I was just starting out. And I told them when I walked into the room, I told them, know that you were made special when you were born, when you were knitted in the womb. This job is not the thing that makes you important, that makes you special. You know what I mean? This is not the thing. You were already that when you were knitted in the womb. So this is one part of your long journey, your career, your life. This is a marathon. So you have to understand it. This is work. This is a character. This is not you. Okay. This is a character. This is a job. And there's going to be many other jobs, because a lot of times as a young kid and as a young entertainer, we can get that mentally confused. And that's why it's a lot of mental health issues that are going on, because we go, am I in my character? Am I who I'm playing? And we're walking out with this mask. But when you have a good, true sense of self and you know who you are, that way you can step into your right journey and your faith and know that, okay, I can go from this job to this job. I can do this. I can help others.
So
I'm
Kel,
not worrying about what this person's doing.
What was it about your journey on all, what was it about your journey on All That, or anything that you did when you was younger, that gave you the fortitude to tell them that specifically?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was going through, because I got in this business at a very young age, and I started to see different things. When you're as a kid and you're in the studio, you start thinking like, these producers and all these people, these are my friends and this is my family, right? But then the show might stop, right? And then you have those say, let me call my brother. That's my friend. That's my homie. Let me call them. But that call might not pick up because they're busy, right? But in your mindset, as a child, you're thinking like, yo, they did me bogus, or they're doing me bogus. And you start getting emotionally like trapped, like, oh man, what am I going to do now? Yeah. And then also, who do you trust? Do they like me for me, or do they like me for the character that I'm playing? And so within that, you start making different mistakes, whether it's you get into substance abuse or it's things that you're just trying to figure out on your own. And so through life, I created these emotional walls and mistakes, right? And what the enemy wants you to do, because, you know, with the idle mind, right? What he wants you to do, when we're sitting still, our mind still travels, okay? Because we're thinking about our past, we're thinking about our future, we're thinking about past mistakes that happen in our lives, right? That's what we're thinking about, so we're traveling. But when you push back and you really look at the moment and take every thought into consideration, do I really need to have this negative thought? Can I replace it with a positive thought? How can I look at this differently? And when I started looking at things differently, and I started looking at how God feels about me and not what I feel about, because there's no mistakes. There's no mistakes. There's just lessons. It's just lessons.
Oh, you better preach up in here. But I do want to say, hold that thought, Brely. We're going to break. Hold that thought, Brely.
Okay.
But I do have to say that, yes, as a child, I can imagine that if people are picking up your calls and then you lose a job and nobody's picking up your calls, you automatically think, oh my God, I have to be doing this so that people respect me, people like me, people think a certain way of me. So you do become what you do, and you don't become who you are. That is so, thank you for putting that out there, Kel. That is so important. Such a lesson to be learned. Even today, if you're not a child, it's a lesson to be learned. We're going to come right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul.
That's where I was at.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Tonight, we are talking about living in your purpose. And I want to thank my guest, Brely Evans, Kel Mitchell, Dr. Delores Thompson is here, and Major is here as well. Let me go to the chat room here. I sensed Major had a special gift when I saw him perform at Dr. Holly Carter's annual Merge Summit for Christians in Entertainment. There you go, Major.
Awesome.
I would love to see Major perform live. When's your next live performance, Major? Major, like, we still in a pandemic.
Major in COVID, Major on Zoom.
Someone said Major paired up with Michelle Williams is such a delight to see. I think he's part of one church in LA.
Listen, okay, so clearly the chat is and I love it. But I want to say there's something somebody brought up, and it's not to be missed. It was something they saw me at a Merge Summit, which was a purpose-filled summit with the intention of helping people identify their why in the midst of all of this. Most of the time we chase our what. We try to figure out the how, but we don't remember the why. You have to carry your why the entire course through, or you are never going to feel fulfilled. And that moment, singing at Merge, opened me up to realizing that, yeah, me winning that showcase was great, but I inspired so many people to keep going that I still to this day have people in chat rooms talking about that performance, because it allowed them to realize that they too were enough to get to all the things they hope for, but it simply takes you deciding to rise up in this thing every single day, and it will unfold in due time.
They're in our chat room and they said Kel Mitchell still looks 19.
That's
Take that.
Appreciate
you know what
that.
else is so major is that summit, the Merge Summit. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It merges the secular world with the spiritual world.
Yes.
So when we talked about those who don't know God and those who know God, the Merge Summit is about showing that we can equally coexist and still be on purpose.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
That's right.
So, Dr. Delores, what drives you, and how do you balance that drive between your everyday life and your career?
Well, I mean, what drives me is God, and knowing that, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was to realize that God knew who I was. Let me just start there, because I was like one of the worst. I was the wildest, the loudest, the drunkest. So when God called on me, I was like, why would you even know somebody like me? You know what I'm saying? It broke me. It humbled me. It brought me all the way to my knees, because I would never even think God would know somebody like me. So once I came to understand that, and the light bulb went off, I understood that wherever I was at, that's where God wanted me to be. And that's where my purpose was. And my purpose is to uplift. My purpose is to inspire. My purpose is to encourage those around me. I'm like a cheerleader. And I love it. And I love helping people understand their value. That is who I am all day long, every day. And
I can attest
what
to
drives
that.
me.
I can absolutely attest to that. But I want to ask you this, because there are a lot of people who are like you were, who are thinking, how does God even know a person like me? And they might learn to know God and get to a place to where they are in purpose with God, but they still believe that they're not due whatever it is God has for them, because they were once that person that drank too much, the wildest person, the drunkest person, the highest person, the person who had the most sex. They were that person, and they can't seem to get out of that to think that they deserve more.
That's
right. All of them. Name them all, Major. Name them all.
It is falling in love with Jesus. When you fall in love with God, you come to understand that not only were you purposed by God, but God is willing to take you to other levels for other people to see. Just like when Brely said, I'm an actress, so I'm on set, but you're on set because God wants somebody to see you. You know, we always sing that song, this little light of mine. Ain't nothing little about the light that God gives you.
Come
Nothing
on.
little about it whatsoever.
Come on.
Come
So
on.
when God puts
Yes.
you in a position for people to see you, it's not about you. It's about them seeing him through you. So you might be
Yes.
there to be an actress, Brely. You might have been there to sing a song. You might be just doing the Tammi Mac show, but God is using you for his purpose. And when people see him through you, that's where the changing of their lives come into play. That's what changed
Right.
my life. So people see that and they want that. They want to be a part of that. And it's not something that's up here, you know, because we've gotten to a point where sometimes in the church we get up here and people are down here, but
That's
it's
a lie.
everyday
Right.
people. And that's who Jesus chose, right? When we talk about John, when we talk about the apostles, those were everyday cats. You know what I'm saying? With
Yep.
flaws, big flaws. But God loved him anyway. Look at David. You know, David was a man after God's own heart. Yet David was an adulterer. Yet David tried to set somebody up and murder them. Yet David, but his heart was God's love. That's what he loved. It was God's love was his heart. And so he was a man after God's own heart for that purpose. So when we start talking about these encounters and we don't think that we're in purpose, somebody is watching, somebody is being encouraged. And you may not always get to see the manifestation of it. You may not always, you know, we plant seeds and then sometimes we move on. Sometimes we're blessed to see that seed be watered and grow, and sometimes we don't.
And when you said that, I immediately thought of Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis.
Come on.
Immediately thought of that.
Mhm.
Major, I want to know, you've been singing all of your life since you were a kid, an embryo. You've been singing through the womb to the High School of Performing Arts in Houston, Texas. But what and when did you discover your purpose, if purpose and dreams are different?
When I graduated college, right when I was about to graduate, was the first of my 10 siblings to even go to college. So I really wanted to set that standard. And my mom let me know the reason behind my name, which I hated for the longest, but Major is my real name for those that don't know. And she told me the reason she gave me that name was because she considered aborting me at a very inconvenient time. And on her way to the abortion clinic, the first time the tire went flat. 2 weeks later, in nearly the same spot, a different tire completely busted. And so she said, okay, God, I hear you. I'm going to have this child. It's out of wedlock. I know there's a lot of judgment, but you're going to have to walk with me through this. So if I name him Major, I pray that he makes a major impact on the world. So for all of my childhood, I had been making these impacts, but I'd never liked my name. And so then it wasn't until I was about to graduate and my mom let me know that was what my name, the meaning behind it was. And I just began to embrace and said, God, I'm going to lock into this thing. I'm here to serve the good of people. I'm here to make this world sweeter by living to my fullest. And so I just began to embrace it. And so I even offer that to people. You're Major because you're you. When you lock into the true you, that's your greatest power. I say the definition of cool is the unapologetic embrace of your uniqueness. When you embrace your uniqueness, you find your distinction. And right in the heart of your distinction, you unlock your superpower. And then you can't be stopped. And creation says, thank you for finally showing up.
Thank you for finally putting commercials on my show so we can make a little cash. We're going to go to one and come right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. A toast to inspiration and living your purpose, because that's what tonight's show is all about. If you want more of this content, it's probably best to subscribe to our YouTube channel right there. All you can do is find out about all of our live shows. We've got new videos up, and make sure you click that thumbs up button. That way, we'll know that you like what we spitting. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Tonight we got some very inspirational, purpose-filled people on the show. Brely Evans is here. The book is The ABCs of I Am, right?
That's it.
Kel Mitchell is here. All that. This is all that. Yes. Major is here because this is why I love him.
Hey.
And Dr. Delores Thompson, my personal minister. If you didn't know, when I need anything and I need to be filled with God and filled with inspiration, she is who I go to. And I'm sure sometimes she be clicking decline.
No.
I do want to bring that up though. When you talk about your purpose of being a part of someone else's journey or someone else's life, that can get kind of taxing. And it can lead other people to thinking that maybe I can call Kel Mitchell up and say, hey, can you put me on all that? That's your purpose. Or I can call Brely up and be like, hey, I could call Major up. Can I get a duet with you, Major? That's your purpose, is to help other people. So how do you differentiate a purpose that is divinely there versus a purpose that people force upon you?
I truly believe that your purpose, as I said before, is gently unfolding all the time. And I think intuitively you will know when you are supposed to be lending that hand, when you're supposed to be opening that door. It's a very intuitive thing that I think some of us do it and don't even realize we're doing it. Like it was very on purpose for me to be called to be on this show. It's very on purpose. I didn't know tonight what the topic is going to be that you would call. And it's no mistake that I have a whole book of I am, so that people can say, hey, if I can't find my purpose, let me see if it's in Brely's book. Come on, y'all.
Oh, we ready, baby. We ready. What you thought the Tammi Mac show was?
Come on. But my point to that is I never intended to be an author. Okay. That was never on my things to do. So when God said, Brely, I have this thing I want you to do, he told me to go live on Instagram. That makes no sense at all. I went live. I was like, look, I do this for me. So I get myself together, get my head together when I didn't get a part or when I need to do it for me. He said, go live. I went live. I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am a sought after actress. I'm just doing my I ams. And then people begin to start writing their I ams on my IG live. And it was going. And then somebody said, where are you getting these from? I want to read them. I said, no, honey, I'm doing what God said, go live. I'm just going live. But they were like, no, we want to read it. I said, well, I don't know. Do you know that God would then have me on a radio show? And then someone called in and was a book publisher and said, I'm going to help you make that into a book. It's so aligned. Like it, you know what I'm saying? It's you cannot run from your purpose. It's going to find you. I would have never, English, I wasn't in English doing the good stuff. I was in dance and acting class doing the good stuff. English wasn't my thing. So writing a book was, like I said, never on the radar. But through this tool to help people, guide them through their speech. One thing I say is you speak what you seek, and that's it.
Yes.
If we could just totally tweak our language just a bit, people would actually see their lives unfold in such a great way.
What is it again? Speak what you
seek, only what you seek.
Speak what you seek.
Stop saying what you see. Stop saying what it is. Stop saying what they did in other folk business. Get to the business of carving out your language to break open what you would like to see manifest right in front of your face. So that's why the book helps you do that. When you say, I am a millionaire. Well, what does that mean? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I am, abundant. What does that mean? So then I have scriptures there that are foundational to each of the I am, so you can stand on that word you said.
You talk about scriptures. I want to go to our chat room again, because we have a couple of people in here who aren't all that religious. So Jason says, let's remember that God is not synonymous with Christianity. God wakes us up and keeps us out of random car wrecks, mass shootings, etc. I'm not religious, but I do believe in God. Is there purpose in that, Delores, Dr. Delores?
Oh, of course, there's purpose in that. I mean, religion, if you look at it, the man-made religion, I am Baptist, I am Catholic, this is all man-made business. You know, God is the God of all. God is the creator of all things, with whom nothing that has been created has been created. So with the understanding of that, that young man that you just read that quote, yes, you are a child of God. Everybody on this call is a child of God and in God's purpose. So we don't have to adhere to religion. It's about relationship.
Yeah. So Major, what if I've given all hope up of my purpose? I don't know what my purpose is. I've just decided to give up the hope.
You know what, Tammy? I'm glad you asked. You know why? Because I'm a hope dealer. I deal hope on a regular. That's what I was awakened to, that was my life call. So whatever the vehicle, just make sure hope is in the car. And so for me, I want people to realize this. It was something beautiful that Brely said. You speak what you seek. Oftentimes, people think that hope is the absence or the choice to act as if reality is not before us. But that's not the truth. Hope is understanding. It's not the denial of reality. It's a commitment to believe greater is on the other side of it. And so if we understand that in circumstances, just because they are difficult never lasts always. That's why you hear about circumstances that once were difficult, because people got through them. Many get through them. And so if people can just understand that hope serves it as an anchor, it serves as an anchor into the promised land always, that if you hold to it, you will always be pulled closer to it as long as you choose to believe that what it is that you have in this day is sufficient for you to make a way for the next moment. I think oftentimes we lose it, and it's okay to lose it, but I always dare people to never stay there. Acknowledge the hurt. Acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the difficulty, acknowledge the no, but don't stay there, because everything moves on.
Kel, I want to move on to you real quick, because I want to go back to the question. How do you differentiate what your intentional purpose or the purpose of God is for you versus the purpose that people place on you?
Well, here's the thing. It's like I used to think about what people thought about me. You know what I mean? I used to always do that. Oh, I want to make sure I do it this way. I want to make sure I present my life this way. And it doesn't work out like that. Sometimes there are ups and downs in your life. And when you accept that there's going to be ups and downs in your life, then that's when you start to understand that, okay, I can get through these downs to get through the up. There's a breakthrough in the struggle. You know, as you go through it, you have to go through the storm in storms, we see rainbows, but the storm had to happen first, right? So that's how we get through it. So for me, I went through, I remember when God told me, he was just like, hey, I want you to speak to youth and go around and just speak to them. And I was like, man, I don't even got a car right now. I'm living check to check. And he's like, but no, I want you to go speak to the youth and help them out. You know what I mean? And that went on to bigger and better things where I started started doing something in Carson, California, where I had dance battles. I started telling my story and telling my testimony to others. And then they saw me in real time talking about my faith and how it grew and all the things that started to happen within my life and the blessings that started to happen and the breakthroughs that started to happen and me getting through those down times where people started telling me that knew me from the past, because just like our doctor said, Dr. Delores, was that I was a good old sinner. I was good at it. You know what I mean? But then when you start saying with my faith, oh, I'm good in my faith. You know what I mean? So God knew that I can use you. He can use everyone. We all have a purpose, all to be used. And, you know, I don't know if everyone knows on here, but I'm also a youth pastor. And within that, within that, it was God has always told me that this is what I want you to do. But it was like, well, yo, look, I'm in the entertainment business. How do I mix these two up. And he's like, no, we need your stories be in this because there's so many people that are dealing with real hurt and pain, going within the entertainment business and what they're dealing with, but you don't know what they're really going through. You're seeing just what they're doing on television, but you don't know what somebody might be really going through.
Yeah.
Have no
we're gonna
idea.
Take a quick break, and we're gonna come right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show. Damn.
That was good, Kel. That was good, bro.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. You soulmates are weighing in, and I thank you so much for it. Unfortunately, we've got to wrap this show up right now. Therese says, spectacular show tonight. Best show on Fox Soul. Therese says, oh, that's a good word, Kel Mitchell. That's a good word. Thank you, Dr. Delores. We got. So, Major, last year you released your song Doves Cry. Can your fans expect new music? But I know what we can expect. We can expect to see you in the Aretha Franklin movie.
Yeah, well, it's the Aretha Franklin TV series. It's Genius Aretha, starring Cynthia Erivo. And Courtney B. Vance. I am playing Mr. Curtis Mayfield.
Yes.
It premieres on the 21st of this month. Y'all check it out. I'll be in a couple episodes doing my thing. It's going to be some special stuff. So, while we're working on the album, your boy is also doing his cannon to the left of them.
Brely, from the family business to the ABCs of I Ams, where can we find your book, and when does the family business premiere?
We just got picked up for our third season, so just sit tight on BET Plus. But in the meantime, go on over to All Black and watch two shows, the Terror Lake Drive and also For the Love of Jason. Got both of those going on right now. The ABCs of I Ams is on Amazon. Go on over to Amazon, make it easy on yourself. Put in Brely Evans. You're going to see a lot of movies. Keep scrolling till you see the book.
You need to make the book priority on that Amazon.
It's all these movies. Where my book at? But you can also go to BrelyEvans.com and get everything.
That's even better. BrelyEvans.com. Kel, you are now the executive producer of Nickelodeon's reboot of All That. A full circle moment here. We are all fans of All That. I know I was a huge fan of All That. So tell us when we can see it and where.
Oh, it's already on. We're already on. We're actually in our third season, so that's pretty awesome. And then also too, I have a television show premiering March 22nd, which is on Monday. It's called Deliciousness. It's on MTV. We're in our second season on MTV, so I want y'all to check that out. It is there we go. Yeah, it's an awesome show, spinoff from Ridiculousness. So we enjoy doing that. And then you can catch me every Sunday too. My Spirit Food Christian Center, that is my church, and My Spirit Food on Instagram. We going live. We've been doing that since the quarantine. So yeah, love y'all.
I've actually visited your church before. Do you still do? Are you guys still doing the Good Burger pop-ups or no?
Quarantine stopped that because we were gonna open it up. We were gonna open it up in Chicago next, but when we finally opened everything back up, we would definitely add a Good Burger pop-up. It's an experience. It's live Good Burger. You come in there and you get a burger, order it, and hang out. So we're gonna be doing that. Hey,
Dr. Delores, please tell us where your divine divinity can be found.
Well, you can find me at Shiloh Baptist Church in Hayward, where I'm a minister. I'm also heard on 102.9 KBLX in San Francisco on the weekend, and I'm investing in the youth at Oakland School for the Arts, which is a performing arts high school.
Oh, good. Maybe you can get one of these three in your series. I know you guys have been doing a series for those students there. So they would love to see Brely, Kel, and Major speak to them about the entertainment industry. That's awesomeness. Thank you all for being on the Tammi Mac Late Show. And I do think, I don't even know what this script was today. That means I need a part 2, and I hope that we can find you all available for me again. But until then, it's a blessing to be in your box on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Bye, y'all.